So here is group 5, and I will give a demonstration about the method that we use to get our data. So first, that the software that we use to run the code is the Jupyter Lab. We use the Jupyter Lab to run the code for downloading the required data in our project. So for the first step, we open the Jupyter Lab and we need to import the tools and the functions that we used in our project. So as we can see, the first step is to import various tools such as Pandas, Folium, Google Maps, Matplotlib, and GeoPandas here. So due to the fact that we need to download the data from Google Maps, so a Google Map API key is required. We applied a API key and set it here. So the next step is that we need to define the searching area to use while using nearby searching function. So in our project, our topic is to tell the distribution of the entire retail industry in Singapore, so that we need to divide the whole Singapore into numerous cells. So for in each cell, we use the nearby searching function to find the places and the data that we need. So we use the nearby search here to search in each cell to find whether there is a point or there is a places that we need. So first we determine the latitude and longitude here, and we use the radius, the grid length here to create a rectangle that we can use to determine our searching area. So here, that we can use the code here to customize the size and the location of the rectangle. So here, that the longitude 1 and the latitude 1 refers to the bottom left of the rectangle, and the longitude 2 and latitude 2 refers to the upright point of the rectangle. So here we can change the value here. And we can see that both the location and the size of the rectangle had changed. So next, we need to determine the grid length of the rectangle, because that we need to search the data cell by cell. So we need to determine an appropriate size, appropriate grid length for the searching process. So here we determine the start point and the end point, center point of the latitude, the latitude and longitude of each point of it. And we first set the grid length at 1000, but after we run for several times, that we find that for different rectangles, maybe 1000 meters is not appropriate for some rectangles. So we change the value here to 900 and 800. Finally, we determine the value 500 here as a medium size. So after that, we use this GeoPandas to make the searching process continue automatically to let the data can be found grid by grid, cell by cell. And after the step that we can find the center, the latitude, and the longitude of the grid point here. So for here, next step, we can visualize here. We can visualize that the pink circle, this pink circle covers for the area that we need in this project. So we can see that it is a appropriate size. And after we determine the size and the grid cell of the rectangle, we can begin the formal searching data process. So as I mentioned before, that in our project we need to tell the distribution of the retail industry. So that here we select 3 POI types: the convenience store and the supermarket and the shopping mall. This kind of POI type, we can find it on the Google map. That we input the POI type here and select the max division times here. Because our laptops do not have a strong power processor, so the 2 times is appropriate, is more suitable for our laptop. And then we input the API key and use this code to run the data. So let me run it here. So as we can see that several results come out, that here these types of these numbers and letters refers to the POI ID of the point that we need. So we can see that it is still running. And after it finished the process of downloading data, that we can use this code to generate the CSV data here. And we can see here the green point is our target data. The green point illustrates that the convenience store in the searching area. And now we can click the CSV data that we created. So here in this CSV data, we have the POI ID, the place ID, latitude, longitude, and name of the convenience store that we need. So after we do this kind of process for numerous times until we finally got all the data of convenience store, the shopping market, and the shopping mall in the entire in the entire Singapore, that we can use the data, we can input this data into ArcGIS for the following steps of processing. So the way that we do it for several times is to change the value. The first value is here, that we need to modify the size and the location of rectangle until all the rectangle covers the full territory of Singapore. So another value that we need to change is the grid length. Maybe for some rectangle 500 is still too big or too small for the downloading process. So we need to change the value here. And another point that we need to change is here, the POI type. After we finish the convenience store data downloading, we need to change the POI type to shopping mall or supermarket. And after all types of retail industry places data we have been downloaded, that our data required processing is finished. So here is all the steps and all the code that we used to download the required data in our project.
Now we want to analyze the distribution characteristics of Singapore's retail business. In this step, I will use supermarkets map as an example to show how to analyze the hotspot and the kernel density of supermarket in Singapore. Through the previous steps, we get the supermarket's information in an Excel. Using add data function to input the XY value of supermarket. Set the appropriate parameter. Then we got the point layer of supermarket. Besides, we create a tool to analyze the hot point and the kernel density at the same time. So, we can use this tool to analyze the distribution characteristics of supermarket. Now we can set the parameter. Okay, so now we get the hotspot and the density map of supermarket. We can observe this map and tell the characteristics of the distribution.